Several conferences in action last night. Plus, we have Phil McClintock. He's the head men's basketball coach, Friends University. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hope you're having a great Tuesday morning. This is just a quick reminder that the new poll is going to be out on Wednesday. As you know, I don't track the top 25 too closely. I focus on the conferences, but at any rate, it'll be out on Wednesday. A few milestones we want to go through. Hey, congratulations to Keegan Shivers, Oregon Tech Hustlin' Owls. He crossed a milestone. Only two players, he and one other person, I'll talk about him in a second, Herb McClintock, 1,400 points, 700 rebounds, and 275 assists. And Herb McClintock went on to be one of the top players in Australia, really had an amazing career down there. Keegan Shivers is in pretty good company there. Congratulations to Keegan. Obviously, as a guy I know, got to know him pretty well. He's a great guy, and really happy to see his success. From that to some sad news, we learned today that Multnomah University, which, as you know, is now a part of the Jessup University, they announced the closure of all the undergraduate programs and the NAIA athletic programs at Multnomah University in Portland. The men's basketball team will be competing through the 24-25 season, and then that is it. They're doing away with all their athletic programs. It's just tough to see. I've gotten to know the coach, the associate head coach there, and some of the guys. I go cover them, not a lot, but I cover them every so often because it's not that far for me to get to Portland. It's drivable. So I've gotten to know those guys, and I was just really sorry to see that. Also, for congratulations to Jesse McClung. He's the head men's basketball coach, St. Mary of the Woods. NAI Coach of the Week from Hoop Dirt. Thank you, Hoop Dirt, for recognizing our NAI coaches. And congratulations to Jesse McClung, St. Mary of the Woods. Let's get down to business. The Red River one game. Southwest beat Houston Tillotson. I didn't update the standings. It really didn't move the standings. In the Red River tonight, Tuesday, keep an eye on that North American Xavier game. It's a game Xavier should win. They need a win, but you never know. I mean, it's college basketball. LSU Shreveport at Texas College. LSU Shreveport's trying to get inch back into that top four, and they need to continue winning. Over in the Sooner tonight, one game as well. Science and Arts beat Central Christian. Again, really didn't change the standings. I didn't update it, but I want to show you. I probably should have did this on the last slide. I'm sorry. These are the games to watch for on, what is this? Yeah, Thursday. So Mid-America Christian is trying to edge up. They have to go to UNT Dallas. That is a tough game. Also on Thursday, Wayland Baptist at Langston. I don't need to say anything about that. And then Nelson, who's in second place right now, behind Langston, is facing Oklahoma City. They've been struggling a bit, but that's a really tough program. Okay, so in the Heart, let's jump to the Heart. Graceland, they recovered and they won tonight. You know, they lost their last game, but they beat Mid-American Nazarene. Mid-American Nazarene has lost a ton of close games, but Graceland won this 69-66. Look at this night for Cole Bowen. 18 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, that is a night. Darius Davis, 18.7 rebounds. So the Yellow Jackets now were 14-3, and they're going to host Clark on Wednesday. So let's take a little bit of closer look. Another game tonight, big game. Peru State at William Penn. Tough place to win. But Peru State won that game 76-74. look at the standings there. So Baker is 2.5 games up on Graceland and Peru State. Both won tonight, both keeping pace with each other. But Baker's got a little bit of a stranglehold if they can hang on to it. Wednesday, Baker's going to be at Missouri Valley. If Baker just keeps winning, they're going to keep a lot of pressure on these guys. And Peru State's on the road at Benedictine, and Graceland is hosting Clark. Those are games to watch in the heart. And sorry, that's on Wednesday. Okay, so we spoke to Coach Phil McClintock. He's the head men's basketball coach at Friends University. That KCAC battle, we'll look at that in just a moment. But that KCAC battle is, it's one of the best we've seen in years. I wanted to talk to some of the coaches down there, so I got a hold of him. And tomorrow we're going to have Troy Brown at St. Mary. So we're going to have a little KCAC feel this week. Let's listen to Coach Phil McClintock, Friends University. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D. Hey, I got Phil McClintock. He's the head men's basketball coach, Friends Falcons. Thank you, Coach, for taking a few minutes.
No problem. Happy to be on.
As we were just talking about, I really love the conference races. The conference races all across the country this season are amazing, and the KCAC is no different. For the last couple of years, Oklahoma Wesleyan has really kind of had a throttle on that conference. They've kind of sucked all the attention out of the air. And this year, yourselves, St. Mary, Ottawa, which I know we're going to talk about Ottawa, right there along with Oklahoma Wesleyan. It's a tough race in that conference. Just talk about the KCAC.
Yeah, it's a tough league. I played in the league and have coached in the league for 10 years as an assistant and a head coach. It's been the last 4 years has been as good as it's ever been. Adding Oklahoma Wesleyan, obviously, the last 3 or 4 years, and then now we have Evangel who Elite 8 team from last year. Just adding perennial powerhouses like that, it's only going to get better. 14 teams. It has been very top heavy the last few years, in my opinion. With Oklahoma Wesleyan always being good, Coach Bostwick does such a good job.
Yes.
And this year, I think that the bad teams, which we were last year, but the bottom teams have gotten better. And, I don't know if the top teams have gotten worse or mellowed out. I just know that it's much more evenly balanced. I feel like every night you have a challenge and you're playing a team that could potentially beat you. Even the top teams are. So it's balanced. It's a really good league from top to bottom, and we're happy to be here. So.
Yeah, Coach, we're seeing that all across the country where the teams are really balancing out. I mean, I could give you example after example. Fans see it, but I think it's a really good thing to see all this parity. Before we talk about the Friends Falcons, people may not know you were at Ottawa. You were associate head coach there for a while. You guys had a lot of success. I remember very well that team in 1920, the COVID year where they stopped the tournament. You had a guy, Coach Daryl Bowie. I use him as an example all the time. If I talk to a player who may not be starting, may wonder what that means for him. And I always tell him the story of Daryl Bowie. This is a guy, Coach, I don't think in his entire life he ever started a basketball game. And he was an All-American. And his story of how he got there, getting up at 3 a.m. and working for 3 hours every morning in a redshirt year, and never starting. I don't think he even started a game in high school. I don't think he ever started a game, and he was an All-American. I love that story.
Yeah, it's a cool story. Coach C brought Daryl in and just saw his film. Man, he looked pretty good. He wasn't on a high scholarship. Didn't expect anything from him. And then he got here, and I'll give Coach C credit. He in open gyms, he's like, man, this guy's good. And he, he's like, maybe we should redshirt him, and we did. And it's funny, obviously it all worked out how it did, and he was a stud. And he didn't even start on senior night. He came off the bench. He was sixth man. I think we had 6 or 7 seniors, and he's like, hey, I haven't started. Let the other guys start. He came off the bench even on senior night. So It's a crazy story, and he came in, but I mean, he played more minutes than anybody else. Obviously, he shot it any time he got a good look. So it wasn't like he wasn't playing. He was coming off the bench, but when he was in there, he had the ball, and we were running stuff for him. So great story, and man, he had a great career.
Yeah, one other quick Ottawa thing, and then we'll get it back to Friends. But Ryan Haskins was on that team. Ryan Haskins hit that last shot in the national tournament.
Yep.
He made the last basket in the NAI Division II national tournament, that where you
Yep.
beat the Concordia Bulldogs that game, and then they immediately canceled the tournament when that game ended. So I've kind of kept contact with Ryan Haskins, and he is a great guy as well.
He is. I see him not regularly anymore now that I'm in Wichita, but I talk to him all the time, and he's the head coach. He finally is a head coach now at Lennon High School.
Yeah.
And he's doing a great job, and will continue to. He is one of the best. I tell people, I just told somebody the other day, Ryan Haskins is one of the best players I have ever coached, and he's just a 5'10" white guy from Osage City, Kansas, but that dude was a stud. So
Yeah.
and that team was fun to coach.
So you're in this is your second year, coach, at Friends?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you guys are this race, for people who aren't following it right now. St. Mary, who fell to Bethel the other night, they're 9-1. You guys are 7-2, right along with the aforesaid Ottawa. They're 7-2 as well, and then Oklahoma Wesleyan, who people afar say, oh, they must be really struggling. Yeah, they're 6-2 in conference, a half game back from you. It's one heck of a race.
Yeah, it's good. And like I said, the last 3, 4, maybe 5 years, we've had multiple teams ranked, 2 or 3 even. And it's just been so good at the top. It's been tough for teams that are at the bottom or even in the middle to beat those top teams because they've been so good. I think what's unique to this year is that now, I don't know where teams are. You don't even know. Everybody, there's so many teams that I think still have a chance.
Yep, exactly.
To finish even as at the top. Could even win it. And talking to other coaches, I think there will be a team. I don't see a team having less than 4 losses win, maybe 5. That's kind of where I see it. I could be wrong, and hopefully, we've lost 2 games. Hopefully that's all we lose. But it's so tough every night. And I'm, as a coach, you're trying to tell your guys, hey, we've won, 3 conference games in a row, beat Oklahoma Wesleyan. Well, it doesn't mean anything if, we play Southwestern coming up and they're really good, and they're coming here. So it's every night. You just can't let up. And it's going to be whoever can win the most close games and find a way to do it, who's going to, be at the top of the league, whether it's to win it or be, top couple. So
you've been on a pretty good roll. You haven't lost since before Christmas, a week before Christmas. What is it that's really starting to click for you?
I'm trying to stay out of the way. We have a really good group of guys.
Yeah.
They have just meshed. We brought in what I think is the right transfers from winning programs, and we knew they were good players. But biggest thing for me, I think, difference in last year and this year is just they're winners. We're down the other night, 14 points with 13 minutes left against the, Oklahoma Wesleyan, who's been the powerhouse in our conference. And our guys knew that we still were in it. We called timeout, and they're sitting there. They're not hanging their heads. We end up making a run and then end up winning that game. But, it's been over and over. We're down against Sterling. And, there have been games when we win big too. But it's just every possession they are together, I feel like, and they have faith in what we're doing. And it's been a really fun team to coach, whether we win anymore or not. Man, they're together, and they are doing it together and trying to do it the right way. And it's been fun so far.
If I look at your team, kind of break it down statistically, you seem pretty solid. You're banging the 3 pretty well. You got some guys who can really hit it. You're out rebounding teams by, I think, 6. You have it's almost 18 assists a game, something like that, but you have a really strong assist to turnover ratio. You just look really, really solid when you kind of just look at it from afar. How would you describe your team? What makes this team win?
Yeah, I think, if you look at us, we don't really have any player of the year probably candidates. When you win, obviously that improves. But we are very balanced. We play together. I think in most of the statistical categories that I look at and want us to be good at, I think we're pretty good at. We're good defensively. We play extremely hard, which is not a statistical category, but shows up in the stats. High assists, low turnovers. We shoot a lot of threes. We spread the floor. We don't have, per se, inside monster presence, but we do score in the paint at a high level. So I think defensively we're good, and we are good at turning our defense into offense when we're locked in defensively. So those are things that I want to be good at, and I feel like this team has kind of come into our own a little bit lately in those categories.
I want to talk about a couple of your guys. KJ Spiller, you were talking about not having a monster guy. I want to explore that a little bit more with you, but he averages 16 points, almost 7 rebounds. He's only 6'5". Man, he's really been producing for you.
Yeah, he's good. He's been so good, and he's gotten so much better since last year. Just being I actually texted him after the Oklahoma Wesleyan game because he was like our third leading scorer. He played 38 minutes, but he didn't. He had 5 assists and 1 turnover. He would never have done that a year ago, And he just being able to win the games with him not shooting. He had 11 shots. But man, we couldn't take him off the floor. And he is. I mean, I said we don't have a monster. He's a stud. He's inside out guy. He shot the 3 at a really high clip. And he's going to get a lot of accolades if we can keep it rolling, because he is our main dude that all of our guys know, and we need a bucket, we go to him.
Yeah, I want to talk about a couple of your other guys, but I want to explore that for a moment. You talked about, not having the monster guy, KJ 6'5". I see this all across the country. I know you do too. Rebounding, it seems like there's been a whole shift in rebounding. Obviously, there's some big guys around the country who can really pull them in. But for the most part, if you look at, especially in the NAIA, team after team, their leading rebounder is a 6'5" slasher kind of guy, real athletic guy, who just can read the ball and outrun everybody else and outwork them to the ball. I mean, you see that on so many teams. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a style of play. I mean, there are really good teams out there that have 6'10" monsters that can rebound and can score in there, and there are really good teams, like you said, that have shorter guys or just like the Dennis Rodman types that just are monster rebounders and with those motors. So it just depends on who you want to bring in and how you want to coach them. I mean, for me, with our style, we like to spread the floor. We like to play high tempo. So I would prefer not to have, big slower guys that, are 7-footers but can't move. I'd rather a guy that can move and can shoot a little bit that may not be as tall. So you can do it a bunch of different ways, but I mean, I think the focus, as long as you focus on those things, if you want to be a good rebounding team, whether you do drills or whatever you do, if you focus on, hey, we got to be a good rebounding team, you can do it without the huge guys.
And then you got a few other guys, kind of the core of your team. Khalees Lee, he was the head leading scorer the other night when he beat Oklahoma Wesleyan, Keon Hutton and Randy Wolf. These guys kind of make up a bit of the core of the team. Just talk about these guys.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. I mean, I feel like we're so balanced. It's hard to just pick out a few. But yeah, Khalees has been really, really good. He's a transfer from NOC Enid, and we knew he was good, but usually with transfers, you don't see what they're really made of. It used to be until their second year is what I would say. But now it's with as many transfers, it's probably a little bit earlier. But he's starting to shoot it really well. He's coming into his own. And he's a better defender and a better rebounder than maybe what I thought, which has helped us out. But he's a stud. Randy Wolf, Ring Ding are a couple guys who they're best friends, roommates.
Oh, okay.
Played at Dallas Northlake, who won a junior college D3 national championship.
Wow.
And so they were obviously both starters on that team. We saw Ring first, and then Randy obviously was all conference, and Randy's been, both of them have been monsters. They're so good. But Randy has definitely been better. He's we can't take him off the floor, and he's definitely better than what we thought, I think. But he is, scores when we need him to. He's leading our team in assists. Ringo is one of the better defenders on the ball that I've coached, to be honest, and we're playing him at the 5 and switch 1 through 5. So he's guarding a lot of the point guards, but they have trouble scoring on him and getting to the paint on him late. So there are a lot of guys we could talk about, but man, this team is the best thing about coaching this team is they are a team and they play together. And so there are guys that are playing well that we've missed, talking about, but man, there are a lot of them on this one.
So you've got, you just mentioned it yourself. There's, you got a gauntlet in front of you, Coach. You know this.
Yep.
So you got Southwestern, you get them at home. Then you have to go to Bethany, then Bethel. I don't care what their record is. That's always all these. Then Kansas Wesley, and then St. Mary. And I know you can't look ahead, but there's a lot of things that are going right for you. We talked about them. You're shooting well. You're taking care of the ball. What are one or two things that you really want to shore up as you kind of head into the heart of the KCAC?
Yeah, it's a good question. We've been playing some different lineups. The first thing I'd say, just to come to mind in that Oklahoma Wesleyan game, we tried to run the same play twice in the first half, and things weren't really going well. We messed up the play and didn't score in either of those possessions. When you look at championship teams, you just don't mess up plays, and you're on the same page. And whether the play works or not, you at least try to run it. And so, and part of that's my fault, just for moving guys around and playing different lineups. And so I think we just need to continue to get better, knowing our stuff and being on the same page at all times, and being able to, hey, you got to be able to execute, and you have to. And we've been pretty good at it, but I mean, to win a championship, you have to be great at executing. Let me think. I think, we had 20 turnovers the other night, handling pressure. Oklahoma Wesleyan, obviously, they are elite when they want to press and get up and down. They're an elite defensive team. But, I mean, if you want to beat those teams, we had 19 assists, 20 turnovers. Well, that ain't going to beat a championship-level team, night in and night out. So we have to do what we want to do, which is high assists, low turnovers. If we can have 19 to 10 or, even fewer turnovers, I think that's something we got to take care of the ball when things are going up tempo and teams are pressuring us. Those are two things I'd say.
Well, Coach, I'd definitely say to anybody who lives in that Wichita area, get out there to the Garvey Center, watch some Friends Falcons basketball. This KCAC basketball is some of the best you're going to see in the country. It's also a hell of a deal. It's the best entertainment value in America. Get out to these NAIA games. Those fans need to get out there and watch. This second half of the season for you guys is going to be really amazing, Coach.
Yeah, I agree. We have played a bunch of games over break at home. I mean, and the students aren't there. We've had some crowds, but hey, there's no excuse now. We have students on campus. We're putting a good product out there.
Absolutely.
Our guys deserve some people in the gym, and so I expect we'll be there. Last year we didn't have great crowds, but like I tell everybody, if we're not good, we're not putting the product out there. I don't blame anybody for not coming. Well, this year, I feel like it's worth it. It's worth the price of admission, so hopefully we'll have some good crowds coming up.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes talking some Friends Falcons basketball with us, and wish you luck as you move forward there. You've got a battle ahead of you.
Oh, no doubt. It's not going to be easy. I appreciate you and showcasing NAIA athletics and basketball. It's great. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. That's very, very kind. That's Phil McClintock. He's the head men's basketball coach, Friends Falcons. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot to Coach McClintock, also to Friends University. Really appreciate him giving us that time. Now, tomorrow, we're going to go to the other team at the top of the KCAC right now, St. Mary, which they currently lead the league, and we're going to talk to Troy Brown. So join us tomorrow for that. Okay, let's jump down one game in the Appalachian Conference. Bryan, who is tied for the lead, they beat Columbia, a game that really didn't change the standings. But real quick, want to touch on what's going to happen on Wednesday. Pikeville is going to be at Milligan. That's going to be a good game, regardless of but that's an important game, but that is going to be a good game. Montreat, which is battling there in the mid-pack, they're at Columbia. They want to win too. They're trying to get into that top 4 or 5 in the conference there. Oklahoma Wesleyan, they finally get off the schneid. They win tonight at home. They played Bethany. They beat them 91-80. Coach, are you happy you got Jaden Litsky back? 17 points, 15 rebounds, big double-double. Isaac Stanek, 19 points, 4 rebounds. They're going to play, they're at 10-6 now, and they're going to play Ottawa, big game. And they're at Ottawa on Wednesday. Let's look at the rest of the KCAC. 2 games, but both important games. The aforementioned Ottawa, they beat Avila at home. Oklahoma Wesleyan was at home, and as we said, they beat Bethany. So St. Mary, who we'll talk to tomorrow, is at the top of the conference. Friends in Ottawa are tied for second, and then Oklahoma Wesleyan is only one game back. So it's quite a battle. Games you want to watch, they play again on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. St. Mary is at York. I know York has been struggling, but it's a road game. That's all you need to know. It's a road game. And Oklahoma Wesleyan is at Ottawa. This is really a critical game for both those teams as they battle to get to the top of the conference. The HBCU, 3 games tonight. Well, one of them, I think. No, they were all one non-con and 2 league games. The Flanders Smith game went to overtime, and Voorhees beat Russ. Those games didn't affect the standings, but Tougaloo and Stillman continue to still lead, with Tillman 1 game back. So on Thursday, Dillard is going to be at Tougaloo. So Dillard is they're on the road at Tougaloo, but they could definitely have something for them there. And Philander Smith, they need a win. Show you where they are here. They're 7-4, and look at Dillard is 7-2. Dillard needs that win, but Philander Smith needs to win. The good news is they're at home. The bad news is Virgin Islands, I think they're 4-4 in conference, but they've had. Remember, they beat Suno the other day. They're definitely capable of an upset. So keep an eye on those 2 games on Thursday. Well, that's what I have with you. I want to thank one more time Coach McClintock at Friends tomorrow. Join us for Troy Brown. That's it. That's all I have. And may the good Lord smile on you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.